Boys, the beta's been out for about a week. It's about to end, so I thought I would do my due diligence and go over all of the differences from NHL 19 and NHL 18 in today's video. So why don't we see if it's worth buying or if there's actually been some changes done. I'm No Sleeves 12. And I still miss my hair. Alright boys, so let's start with the actual menus and player selections when it comes to Versus. In Versus in the beta, the menu screen, it looks a little bit cleaner. They did away with like that broadcast thing that they were messing around with in 18. So I'm okay with that. The player selection screen and editing and the menus and strategies, all exactly the same. They went with a little bit more modern look. Oh, hey, look, there's a cat. Anyways. So, yeah, so the menus haven't really changed all that much. The exact same things are in each menu, along with the player selection screens. When it comes to editing, there isn't any new features as far as, like, swapping quickly. And no, there is no Versus line saves in the beta, so hopefully, I can't confirm anything, but I haven't heard, to be honest with you. But currently, you're not able to save your lineup in Versus, which is obviously kind of a letdown. It was one of the simpler things that we really wanted. So let's get into the actual gameplay. Alright, so when it comes to loading into the actual game, again, it's a little bit more modern, a lot more color, not so bland and whatnot from 18 when it comes to 19. That being said, the presentation in the beginning of the game, as well as the commentary, remains mostly the same, which is what people are going to hold on to and complain about, because that's where the similarities end in NHL 19. When it comes to the gameplay, EA has not done a better job in an NHL game in improving the actual experience in the game in almost a half decade, if not longer, because the actual skating as well as hitting and the actual tuner to the game has been bang on compared to what we had in 18 and even 17 for the most part. So let's start with the changes in the actual gameplay, because unfortunately, graphic wise, there isn't really much of a change, and I'm completely okay with that, and I'm going to go into why I am. So, like I said, everything's pretty much different when it comes to the gameplay. When it comes to skating, you're so much more responsive. I don't want to say it's arcadey, but it more resembles NHL 3s in 18 than anything else. The back skating, left, right, lateral movement, turning is actually responsive. It's much easier to hold on to the puck, and there's also another reason for that. But when it comes to skating, you're not going to see those long boat-like turns that you had in NHL 18, and that's because of the new skating engine. When it comes to hitting, the hits, when you hit someone, when you have a big player, and you see him coming through the neutral zone and it's a smaller guy, it will crush him. Not like the other games where they always hype up hitting and it being, you know, more big hits and whatnot. This is nuts. This is, you are satisfied if you catch a dude clean and, you know, you're using Brent Burns or something. Like, it is crazy. Next, the AI acts completely different. There is going to be a insane adjustment between not only the lesser players but the more skilled guys, because in 18 and 17 for the most part, a lot of us relied on our AI, and that's because that's how you had to be good at the game. That's just the unfortunate reality of it. There's no more CPU launching. CPU launching is when you take your defenseman or forward and someone's coming in on the rush and you skate towards them, and then right as they're about to collide or about a few feet apart, you switch off, and a CPU, you know, defender will either crush that guy automatically or pin him against the boards without a penalty. In 19, that doesn't happen. If you try to CPU launch, when you switch off, he will auto backskate. That's one big time improvement. Next, a huge one. The AI doesn't hold against the boards. In NHL 18, the reason why skill zoning was so effective was your AI, when you didn't control them, would just pin you up against the boards, you lose the puck, and then there goes your possession. In NHL 19, if you skill zone against someone who knows what they're doing, you're going to lose, and the reason for that is the AI will not hold you up against the boards automatically. What will happen is they will pressure them, but you can still hold the puck and skate by, and eventually, because you have one guy sitting in the slot, that means someone else is open, and they're going to get crushed with a piss missile from somewhere. So again, that's a huge change from NHL 18. When it comes to scoring overall, much harder. The glitch goals aren't really there. The backhand along the goal line doesn't really exist. It doesn't pull the goalie off the post. Short side wristers, way toned down. If you come in gliding across, you will catch a bad goalie if you have someone with a great shot shooting that wrister. But other than that, it's really not going to go in, and that's something that is good to see. One-timers from the point specifically are back, and the reason for that is tips actually happen now. In 18, they didn't happen. They just stopped, and that was because in 17, anything that was shot would tip somewhere into the net. Now we have a perfect medium, and again, that's a great change. Goalies overall are in more position and don't get caught out, which is good to see. Poke-checking. Obviously, we have to discuss poke-checking. A lot of people hate it. I don't. Just don't use R1. Go through a few games of not using R1, and you will adjust. The only times you should be using R1 is if it's a last-ditch effort and you're running, 2-on-1 and you're caught out and you're trying to knock them off the puck on a breakaway or something. Use R1. Or if you're back-checking and the guy's in front of you with the puck, use R1 because you're going to hit the puck first. But if you don't, from behind or the side, instant penalty, and it's fantastic. There's obviously going to be a huge adjustment because just from the few games I've played, it's been nuts. I had one guy take 54 minutes against me. And obviously that's a little excessive, but guys need to adjust. That's just how it's going to be. But overall, the gameplay, thank you, EA. You have done a great job finally, and I'm okay with the presentation being almost exactly the same. Let's talk 6s and 3s. So the menu and system that is in 19, I will say, is the one thing that I really hope that they change as from the beta to the actual main game. In 18, much like the Versus presentation and whatnot, it's much simpler, a lot more gray, no color, but really easy to read, whereas in 19, the beta at least, it's kind of too much going on. If you look in this small section right here, it shows who signed into the lobby first and not in order of position. Now, I know that's kind of stupid sounding, but it's a lot simpler to know where everyone's playing in 18 because it's literally listed in the exact same position always, whereas in 19, you're literally just having to look, and it's just like I said, it's a lot going on. And I know it's a lot of things that the game changers have talked about, as well as most of the community, is this specific menu is just kind of a mess. But let's get into the giant change in 19 when it comes to 6s and 3s, and that's player builds. Alright, so in 18, this is the extent of your player build. You basically, judging by what position you had, whether it be defense, goalie, or forward, you were then locked into whatever defensive or forward or goaltender builds were available. You couldn't change anything. It's whatever was predetermined. So there was a few defensive defensemen, for example, just wasn't able to be used because it wasn't a meta or viable statistical attributes that would allow you to compete against the top players, whereas in 19 it's completely different. So yeah, like I mentioned, not only can you min-max with your height and weight for your player, but you can also choose defensive builds and forward builds that can play the opposite position. You can have a two-way defender play right wing, and you'll get all the statistical benefits and deficiencies for each player. And you also get attribute traits that can improve different things as well as decrease. Quick step, for example, will give you quicker acceleration, whereas heavy hitting will increase your body checking. Goaltenders, unfortunately, the traits, because they improve certain things and decrease others no matter what, it's kind of a downfall using traits as far as the beta goes from my experience with it, but the fact that you're able to use any build in any position is an awesome addition to the game, and 19 completely crushes 17 and 18 in this category. So again, just like Versus, as you can see, the presentation doesn't really change all that much. In 19, you can see your name in the bottom left, which I don't really know it benefits you that much. I mean, I guess if you're streaming, it kind of says who you are, but it also shows your traits that you have selected. So I guess in case you forget what you have on, it will then show you. As far as the gameplay goes, it's exactly like Versus. The changes that happen as far as pochecking, you cannot pocheck in 6s or 3s and expect a different result. You will get a tripping penalty almost every time that you do not hit the puck first. What is obviously prevalent in 19 as far as 6s and EA Sports Hockey League goes is that bumping is how you get control of the puck again. Bumping into, or literally just kind of guiding your player into others, is how you knock the puck off their stick. So if you have a bigger build, power forward for example, and then min-max the height and weight, that'll give you the advantages, especially over the smaller players. That has been the most effective way so far in 6s and 3s as far as getting the puck back, because like I said, without the pocheck being able to be spammed, it's really hard to knock them off the puck, and defense in EA Sports Hockey League is going to be a challenge for a lot of players, I think. So lastly, the biggest change so far in the beta would technically be the new game mode 1s, because it is unlike any other game mode that we have from 18. It's extremely fun, and the fact that it's a one more game mentality kind of mode where because it's so quick and rapid and you can just instantly load into another game, it's obviously kind of an addicting mode. It is also the fastest way to unlock hockey bags, which gives you all your personal customization options for your 6s player in the world of Chell and in 6s. I, for one right here, have the Timberland skates, and they're sick, and I unlock them just by doing by playing 1s continuously. I don't think this game mode will get as old quickly as 3s did in 18, because again, there is a progression kind of system, and the ranking's kind of cooler than you know, with the fact that there's tiers, but it's also the fastest way to unlock hockey bags, whereas 3s in 18 did essentially nothing and was just a gimmick game mode. So this is definitely a good change and difference from NHL 18, and another win for NHL 19. So guys, that was my what is different in NHL 18 and 19 video. If you want to look at the more in-depth takes I have on each game mode, just check out my channel. I've done one for Versus and 1s, and 6s and 3s will be coming. Thank you for all the likes. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers. If you guys like my stuff, just bang the subscribe button. You don't even have to throw notifications on. It just helps me out by having that extra subscriber. So thank you guys. Thank you for all the likes and comments. Let me know what you think should be changed, as well as what you like that's different in NHL 19 so far. Alright guys, you stay sweet.